Superheroes, for the most part, are traditionally known for their colorful costumes, incredible abilities, and probably most of all, their masks. A debate often crops up in superhero fiction on whether or not these superheroes have something to hide besides just their secret identity. It often puts them at odds with secondary characters who work for the police or government or simply have strong views on vigilante activity. So, do these heroes have something to hide? Put simply, the answer is yes. I'm not debating whether or not masked heroes are better than unmasked heroes, but I am here to examine what the mask means to their own sense of identity. Not what the world sees them as, but what they see themselves as. Identity itself is a construct formed by how others perceive us, but also how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. Superheroes more than anybody else in fiction seem to struggle with who they are or who they've become, making them a great case study for this kind of question. Welcome to Serenity Cinema, and today we examine the identity crises of various superheroes. Superheroes didn't always wear masks. The primary examples of heroes that don't are obviously Superman and probably the Fantastic Four. The reasons why these heroes don't wear masks is just as important as the reasons why other heroes do. The Fantastic Four have public identities because they're scientists and explorers. So for this essay, I'm primarily going to focus on Superman and his identity as a hero. Superman's mask is not Superman. It's Clark Kent. To him, he's just Kal-El, the superpowered alien disguising himself as human. Despite this, he wants to be human more than anything. He disguises himself as a clumsy nobody when he's Clark Kent to protect his identity. But wouldn't wearing a mask as Superman make more sense? Well, yes, absolutely. But I think that what he really wants isn't just to be normal, but for the world to accept every aspect of who he is. Not wearing a mask gives the people the face of a hero to look to, sure, but he's doing it because he wants Kal-El to be accepted as a man and not just a god. This is easier to understand in the context of another hero, specifically Batman. It's been said by many fans that while Superman is a god trying to be a man, Batman is a man trying to be a god. That goal is what separates Batman from so many other heroes, but it's also what makes him the most human. Let me explain. To understand what Batman's outlook on being a hero actually means, we need to understand how he views the duality between Bruce Wayne and Batman. Like Superman, he believes his civilian identity is the mask, while the vigilante identity is the real him. The difference is, Batman prefers this while Superman does not. To Batman, Bruce Wayne is just a face he puts on to protect his other persona from being discovered, but he doesn't really care if either is accepted for any other purpose than maintaining his own vigilante activities. Now, up until now, I've probably only told a lot of you comic fans things you already know, particularly when it comes to Batman. But these two dualities of hero have shaped and changed modern comic book adaptations in an incredible way that has to be addressed here. The best example I think I can give of a changed character is Oliver Queen, specifically the version of him on CW's Arrow TV series. In his early days, Green Arrow was accused of just being Batman with a bow and arrow. In an effort to differentiate this new hero, Green Arrow was made quippy and funny. He specifically looks out for the little guy despite being a billionaire, and he is a major social activist. This new interpretation we see on Arrow is much darker and grittier than his comic book's counterpart, so much so that many fans have once again compared him to Batman, which is totally fair. However, accusations were made during Season 1 about the plot being too close to Batman Begins, where a rich bad guy wants to destroy a corrupt city only to be stopped by a billionaire hero, assisted by his close employee/friend, and a tech genius.
It can't be saved. Because the people there don't want it to be saved.
But I think this new Oliver Queen is very far removed from Batman because of how he views himself and his crusade. One of the most obvious differences between the two is that Oliver straight up killed everyone in Season 1. Like, to a ridiculous extent.
This guy! Whoa, please, wait!
Batman, at least in most interpretations, is known for his no-kill rule, but we'll come back to that later and highlight why it's really important. One of the less obvious differences was recently highlighted during Arrow Season 5. In the flashbacks, Oliver is in Russia assisting his friend Anatoly with a brought for war for power. He comes under the mentorship of Talia al Ghul, who is historically a love interest of Batman and the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. She teaches him to hide his darkness by giving it a name. They create a suit for him, which will later become the Arrow Season 1 costume, and he becomes known as Capuchon, or the Hood in Russian. He also begins torturing men in a way that makes even Anatoly cringe. Anatoly believes that he enjoys it, and Oliver later admits that to Prometheus after days of mental and physical torture.
You don't kill because you have to, so why? Why do you do it? Because I wanted to. What?
too! And I liked it!
So what does that have to do with his identity or his difference from Batman? Well, it's about why he came back home, really. He wanted to be Oliver Queen. He wanted his old life back while still holding on to the darkness that he feels he can't get rid of. The hood, the mask he puts on, they act as a separation from that darkness. Oliver believes that by giving it a name and its own face, he can not only control the darkness inside of him, but justify his actions because it's not really him doing these things. In short, Oliver wants to cage the Beast even though there's nothing to cage. He is the Beast.
You brought madness into all our lives, and the monster you were inspired monsters.
Batman, on the other hand, came back to take power away from those who prey on the good people of Gotham City. He doesn't want to cage the Beast, but use it as a means to an end.
What are you seeking? I seek the means to fight injustice, to turn fear against those who prey on the fearful.
It's who he is now. He created a monster to fight the monsters, and he is completely okay with that. Now, does this mean that every hero that wears a mask is a psychopath? Absolutely not. The Flash wears a mask, but he's one of the most hopeful and supportive heroes in the DC universe. Spider-Man is the exact same way. But the mask does symbolize a cutoff from the world. It shows that the hero does have some pain or feeling of powerlessness inside that they want to hide. Batman himself dons the cape and cowl to escape from being that helpless child in the alley who couldn't save his parents, and to take power back from men in masks who prey on the weak. But in doing so, he's just hiding and creating something scarier than anything he's afraid of. A hero like Spider-Man, who's lost almost everyone he cares about, becomes Spider-Man to make his uncle proud, an uncle whose death he blames on himself. The mask and the humor that Spider-Man is known for are really a way of hiding from that guilt and that pain. You can say that about nearly every superhero. They're trying to become something more than just a frightened human being with unbelievable power, even the ones without any powers. That doesn't mean that this hero doesn't care about those they save, it's just the reason why they don't think it's enough to help these people as a philanthropist or an inventor or a police officer. They need something more. They need to be something more.
You have failed this city.
So in conclusion, heroes wear or don't wear masks for different reasons. The few that don't do so because they feel that they have nothing to hide or because they want the world to accept every part of them, human and superhuman. The ones who do wear masks do it to create a new persona to hide from whatever pain they're feeling inside, or to hide the real them from the world to show everyone something stronger. Sometimes they even do it to give what they believe to be the monster inside of them a face, whether that monster is something they fear or something they embrace. All of these men and women are heroes, but their personal demons are why they become the kind of heroes we see in comic books and movies. The masks give them the mental strength to overcome their own fears about who they are or what they've done and use their powers for good. Today, we're seeing more and more heroes without masks, like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, that I believe are a way of showing the heroes don't have to hide who they are, damaged though they may be, and that we can all do good while staying who we are. In a lot of ways, I think that's what it truly means to be a hero.